A cashless society is upon us. Should you be concerned? Maybe. Let's find out. So here on the Daily Mail, 6 in 10 free cash machines will have disappeared from the UK's high streets by the end of the decade as Brits go cashless, research finds, and this was from 2023. So I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've definitely noticed it. Cash points are disappearing. In Farnham, there's a cash point outside of Waitrose that got broken into. There's no camera next to it. It's not in use anymore. They've not replaced it. And then there's Nationwide having a refurbishment and their cash points out of use. So in order to shop in town, if you want to use cash, you have to walk the other side of town, it's only a small town, to get cash out. And I'm pretty sure this is happening in a lot of small little towns and villages where they're just getting rid of cash points, which is a massive inconvenience for people because we're so used to using cash that we're almost being pushed into having to use our debit or credit card because it's convenient. And I believe it's not convenient at all because the short-term convenience we're getting now, you go in a shop, scan, go, facial recognition, barrier to go through, right? They're going to introduce these apps. Well, they already have them on your phone. So your Asda app, your Tesco app, your Sainsbury's app. You have to scan a receipt in Sainsbury's to get out. They're drip feeding this in order for you to rely on a system that is all digital. So have all your purchases on a blockchain, and when you finish paying for your products at a till, you have to scan your phone in order to get out. It won't be paper receipts. They're just training people into doing this at the moment. Oh, you get a little receipt and then you give it to your kid to scan it to get out. Right? So we're brainwashing our children already because they're being put in a position of using scan and go, don't know what changes anymore, and then they think it's fun to scan a receipt to get out. It's just all a part of this indoctrination program, because it really is. We're allowing authoritarianism into our society, all in the name of convenience. And in 2030 and beyond, it's not going to be convenient at all. UK facing devastating cash famine as bank branches close and cash machines vanish. And this is 2023, April. I've seen people queue at cash points and inside supermarkets on a single till that's only open just to pay for their products with cash. A devastating cash famine is coming unless urgent action is taken over bank closures, experts have warned. Shocking figures show 1 in 5 cash machines were taken out of service in the past 5 years, while the number of bank branches has dropped by 40% in a decade. Ministers warned it is time for radical plans to protect access to cash before it is too late. I noticed during lockdown, during this pandemic, that the banks were going through some sort of new system. And from what I can tell, it's a new system they're installing, which is going to be linked to cryptocurrencies, the blockchain, IoT and ISO 2022. I'm not going to go into that today, but it's a research point. And I feel like a part of the reason why we went into lockdown and the reason they put out this fake scandemic is to start building this new future where everything is connected. So the Internet of Things. Not only will our phones are already connected, you know, your kettle, your washing machine. In time, it will be us that's also connected to the Internet of Things for a certain brain chip. Think about it. Another website here, over 15,000 free-to-use ATMs lost since 2018. So it's not just any cash machine, it's the free ones. So in essence, you'll have to pay to take out your cash. And people now, we're a lazy society, we don't like inconvenience. We want it as convenient and as quick as possible. And if it means walking half a mile down the road to withdraw cash, people aren't going to do it. I mean, I posted something on Twitter the other day and someone said, are you really going to do that in order to use cash? Yes, because your freedom is going to be reduced. People have no idea, and I forget people have no idea the realities that are coming. I can't completely blame people for wanting convenience. It's almost like we've been trained in convenience over the past 10, 20, 30 years where things are quick to get to us, whether that be deliveries or instant gratification. I mean, it's happening more with the younger generation through apps like TikTok and Instagram, mainly TikTok, because they want quick gratification. They don't want to think about what's around the corner. So with all these cash machines closing, what's the Bank of England had to say about it? So on their website, it says about the CBDCs. We are looking at the case for issuing a digital pound. This type of money is known as a central bank digital currency. It would not replace cash. So they're promising, well, kind of promising, that it's not going to replace cash. But if they're making it inconvenient for us to withdraw cash, what do you think people are naturally going to do? They're not going to use cash. They're just going to use their card. So basically, it's a trap. It's a massive trap to make you conform to a system that you don't know is essentially bad or could be potentially bad. So here it says a digital pound would be like a digital form of cash, a banknote for the digital era. So an era is coming. We can't deny that. It's been coming for a long time. Like banknotes, it will be issued directly by the Bank of England. You could hold your digital pounds in a digital wallet. I have tons of digital wallets on my phone for cryptocurrencies, and I'm gonna be honest, I feel like I'm partly to blame for this because I was rooting for cryptocurrencies, and that's because, you had 4, 10, 100 times your money sometimes, and people like me, I'm so used to working a 9-to-5 job and only having 50 quid at the end of the month, and then instantly, I invest in a cryptocurrency, and 1 year later it's worth 5 times more than originally invested. So this type of money is known as a central bank digital currency. You may also hear it being called digital sterling or even Britcoin, which I think's it's quite smart because Britcoin, because they sound pretty much the same. So people are instantly going to think, oh, Britcoin, yeah, well, we can trust that. A digital pound will be denominated in sterling and its value will be stable, just like banknotes. £10 in digital pounds would also have the same value as a £10 banknote. So this sounds massively convenient and too good to be true. So the money will always hold its value. And we know over time, money has depreciated in value because of the amount of times the US or England, other countries have printed money. The value of that has gone down. And here it says, just like the money used today, your trust in digital pound would be essential. Any future laws on digital pound would guarantee users' privacy and also guarantee that the Bank of England or the government would be able to control how you spend your money. It will be your choice whether to use digital pound or not. I mean, one of the things that Klaus Schwab said at the World Economic Forum in Davos recently, which was rebuilding trust. So we have to trust them, but since when did we trust the government? And I can tell you why I don't trust the government, or many people wouldn't trust the government, because you look at somewhere like China, when they've got the social credit system, which I believe probably will be installed at some point in the future. And it's not just a social credit system, it's kind of like a traffic light system, whether you're, green light, amber, red light, whether you're a good citizen, in between citizen or a bad citizen, and this will dictate your freedoms. So here it says, China's social credit system expands that idea to all aspects of life, judging citizens' behaviour and trustworthiness. So again, you've got to trust the system that's in place. You've got to trust the government. But if you don't trust the government, well, we're going to limit what you can do with your cash. How will they also judge what you can do with your cash? Climate change, carbon. It's one of those things that everyone's talking about, and it's not going to go anywhere soon. So here on the World Economic Forum's website, why you should consider adding carbon credits to your climate action plan. It's almost like we don't have a choice, that we have to be part of this climate action plan. So here it says, are your carbon credits contributing to climate action? Underneath, with sustainability management solutions, organisations can reduce both costs and emissions, easily tracking, analysing and reporting on carbon emissions and waste management data across their business ecosystem, including their value chain. So they're talking about a tracking system that's going to be in companies, so they all have to abide by this too. It's not just how woke you are as a company now, it's how green you are, and if you're reducing your carbon emissions. Another page on WEF's website, My Carbon, an approach for inclusive and sustainable cities. So this is basically telling me they do want to digitalise everything, but they will do it step by step. Kind of like districts within your county. If we go down here, one of the things, you could read the whole thing, but one of the things I noticed was, our world is transforming big community trends for sustainable cities. Number 1, COVID-19 was a test of social responsibility. Right. So They're kind of brainwashing or guilting you into having to think that if you don't partake in reducing your carbon, then you're a bad person. Just like for those who didn't wear their mask, who didn't get the vaccine. It's all the same narrative, but just through climate change. And I've said this, the idea of climate lockdowns is not a far-fetched idea. I mean, you type it in online and there's media outlets saying the conspiracy of climate lockdowns. Well, I mean, why wouldn't they rule this out when they say things like this? So we carry on. A huge number of unimaginable restrictions for public health were adopted by billions of citizens across the world. There were numerous examples globally of maintaining social distancing, wearing masks, here we go, mass vaccinations, acceptance of contact tracing applications for public health, which demonstrated the core of individual social responsibility. So they're selling it to you like you are now responsible. If you do not partake in this, you are a bad citizen, and we will restrict how you spend your money, because it's all down to trust. You have to trust the government and system, and you also have to abide by the rules at the same time. And number two, fourth industrial revolution technology breakthroughs. I won't read too much of this. Advances in emerging technologies like AI, blockchain, and digitalization can enable tracking personal carbon emissions, raise awareness, and also provide individual advisories on lower carbon and ethical choices for consumption of products and services. So the product is food and water, and services is travel. So this will be a reduction on what you can eat and a reduction on how you can travel. So your freedoms to choose how you eat and choose how you travel will be reduced or open depending on your carbon credit score. If you're a bad citizen and you've been eating steak every day, well, next month, mate, you're not allowed to go on holiday. You're not allowed to travel. This is what's going to happen. It goes on here as well. There have been major advances in smart home technologies, transport choices, and carbon implications. The rollout of smart meters is providing individual choice to reduce their energy-related emissions. The development of new personalised apps. So, there's this talk of wallets and new apps, smart meters, home technologies. Right, all this is going to be linked together. So there's no way of avoiding how they're tracking your carbon emissions. And this is how they reduce you to another slave in a new system. So something else I found on their website. This credit card has a carbon emission spending limit. The next part is introducing carbon credits to CBDCs. So obviously cash is going to go. So this is where we got to. Cash is going to go, and then you'll have a bank card. But within this bank card, it's not only your digital coin, it's your carbon allowance. So it'll be integrated. So you get where I'm going with this. If your carbon credit is low, then your spending could be limited. If your carbon credit is bad, what gives you a right to buy certain foods? And when you're at the checkout and you go to pay for it, and then you try and scan it with your card, come up with a red error, you're not allowed, sorry. And there's a barrier there now, so you can't just break through it. You could try, but all these barriers are starting to appear in all these supermarkets. Why do you think that is? It's all going to be monitored. And all these supermarkets now, you've all got these cards, so they know exactly what you're buying. So there's something else on the website. Privacy concerns around CBDCs, are they justified? So obviously, we want to know if our privacy is going to be invaded. So this page runs through how your information will stay private. But this doesn't make any sense when you think, when they incorporate carbon credits, how will they rate my carbon credit score if they don't know what I'm buying? The answer is they will know what you're buying, because it's all on your supermarket app. Because we get I've seen this. People have their end of year results, just like Spotify. You've bought this amount of food, this type of food, right? It's all on a system, but this will all be on the blockchain, and the blockchain is usually open. You can see what a certain wallet address has bought, say like an NFT, a piece of art. You go on their artwork, owned by X, click on them, and it goes to a certain profile. So they say your information will be kept private, but I don't know how they can promise that when they want to track your carbon credits and what you're spending. But it essentially falls down to the public and how we behave. So if we allow it just to carry on, stop using cash because it's an inconvenience, and they slowly drip this new system into society, such as removing cash machines, putting a barrier up in a supermarket and using a QR code to get out, using scan as you go, removing cash from transport, and they've been doing it for a long time. So something I'm going to do actively is only use cash for fuel and food, because that's something we usually buy every day and we can use cash for. I have some faith in society, but knowing how we work, we love convenience, and who knows what's going to happen, but everyone should be aware of this, and we're not. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's just a bit of education and raising awareness of what's around the corner. Use cash or lose it. Governments around the world, WEF, WHO, the New World Order, which is real, you can't trust them. You can't trust them, especially what happened through this pandemic. And if you haven't latched on to any of that yet, well, we're fucked. And if you are concerned, write to your local MP. Protest, get involved with protests, post about it, share this. And it's not only me who's talking about it, I've seen many other people talking about it, but this information doesn't get out there. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave a comment below expressing any concerns, or I want to know what your views are about the situation. Have I missed something? Should we trust this new system? Is China's credit system coming to the UK or Europe? And yeah, let me know in the comments. Leave a little like, sub if you want. It's entirely up to you. Don't conform and use cash as much as you can. Take care.